of what we witnessed, what we saw last night. Most people saw it around midnight. Other people just now woke up. They had breakfast in bed and watching From. And by the way, the YouTube channel is called Review from a Car. We're back into the car again, reviewing another From episode. Now, I got a lot of things I've written on my phone when I was watching this morning, and we're gonna tackle it and address it. Okay, so without further ado, here we go. Okay, season 4, episode 6 of the sci-fi horror series From is titled The Heart is a Lonely Hunter. It premiered the 31st on MGM Plus. Now, I'm going to tell y'all a couple of plot twists that happened through this telecast. Okay, major plot development. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Okay, I'm going to let you guys know, let you guys be fully aware of that. Okay, Boyd and Jade are the conflict there between the two. Okay, the episode opens up immediately after Jade declares he knows how to save the children and get everyone home. A heavy rift forms between Boyd and Jade. Boyd view Jade. Boyd literally views Jade's hidden door plan as a you know, delete mission. I can't say the word, starts with an S. He believes that is a delete mission for everybody, but is frustrated. Even the frustration eventually drives Boyd stop questioning it and take action. Okay, so let's just address the elephant in the room. I feel like this was the major storyline through this episode, and it carried on through the duration of the episode. A lot of other things happened in the episode, but I feel like this is a major thing that a lot of people are going to address, a lot of people are going to attack, and a lot of people are going to talk about. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. Okay, the war between Boyd and Jade, what to believe, what not to believe, which was kind of funny to me because to me, I thought Boyd was in on this mission all along. You know, Jade told Boyd that he had to take drugs to figure out what's the goings on with a lot of the things that they have witnessed, what they have saw, and what they have dreamed. And he feels like he has all the knowledge. He has the key to what is what everyone is trying to figure out about the town, and is locked in the back of his head, but he can't unlock those thoughts unless he was high. Okay, so that's why he grabbed the mushrooms, and I thought from there Boyd and Jade had an understanding that, hey, look, he's taking psychedelic mushrooms to unlock he believes by taking these mushrooms, he feels like it's going to unlock the answers that he's got locked in the back of his head. So to me, I thought Boyd was, in the past couple of episodes, Boyd was all aboard on this theory, and now when he takes the mushrooms and he goes on this trip, and he comes back from this high trip, now all of a sudden Boyd is questioning it, questioning whether to believe Jade or not, whether to believe, is this all the answers that we're looking for, or is this just all a bunch of mumbo jumbo that a lot of stoners, a lot of people hallucinate, and the hallucinations are not true. What what Jade witnessed throughout his duration of the mushroom trip. Okay, so to me, I thought the writers were going to have a hard time writing it for us, the viewers, to watch and go, okay, boys all on board with Jade. Jade takes the mushrooms. Jade wakes up from his high, and now Jade says, "Hey, he has the answers to that he feels like this is the way to get out of this town." And now all of a sudden, Boyd is even questioning that. Okay, and to me, the way how they wrote it, you had to watch the other episodes to connect the dots. So to me, it addressed that path, and it also addressed why Boyd is, contemplating whether or not to believe Jade or not to believe Jade. Okay, so um, I thought that was good storytelling. I thought that was good writing, and they sort of connect the dots with that. But anywho, Jade and Boyd, goes on to this, uh, well, Boyd says, well, let's just go along with it. You said there's a hidden door. There's a door in the storage facility, which, by the way, Jade has never been in the storage facility. So how would he know that they have a storage facility on their colony house? Okay. Uh, Boyd takes that knowledge and go, okay, well, just because you've never been there, that don't really mean that you don't know nothing about colony house. Okay. So I mean, the storage room that's under Colony House. Boyd's probably thinking in his head, well, you probably unheard it from, thanks for the thumbs up, you probably have heard it from other people that have been down there. Okay. So that really doesn't establish nothing with the dynamics mean you have on whether or not I should believe you, Jade, or what you're saying is a bunch of mumbo jumbo. Okay, that doesn't really prove anything. Okay, so they go down to the storage facility, and Jade starts looking around, and he sees this wall, and Jade is familiar about this wall because um the wall, it had a door where this wall is, and that's just a full wall. Okay. So now Jade is questioning. Now he's starting to believe. He kind of sort of, a lot of Boyd uh understanding starts creeping and developing in Jade, like, okay, maybe this is just a wild goose chase. Maybe I was high. Maybe what Boyd is saying is true. We can't really determine what's fact and what's fiction with this trippy dream you had when you took the mushroom. So he started doubting himself, but he doubts himself a little, but he still believes that uh what he saw in the dreams, his psychedelic dream, was true. Okay, so therein lies that storyline, which is the main storyline, and we're going to go into the next thing. Returning from the settlement, Donna, Tabitha, Ethan, Ellis, Patty arrives back to the town after surviving attack by the Nightmare Lake dolls. They bring back disturbing news, a horrifying cargo of a corpse of Roger. Okay, so with that storyline, it's like, to me, that's like a small storyline. It really, doesn't connect the dots as of right now with the main storyline between Boyd and Jade. But nevertheless, it is a storyline. So, you know, Jade and Boyd, they have their mission that is going to be hard for people to believe. And now here come Donna and Tabitha coming back to Colony House with, what they went through what they went through that night. Okay. And a lot of the things that they went through, they sort of kind of gotten answers to a lot of their questions on why they went through the ordeal over, when they spend the night at that place where the vegetables only grow there, okay, by the lake. And you know they brought back, God rest his soul, even though it's a character, Roger. They brought back his corpse, and what they found when they gathered Ross' mouth was all sewed up. He also had the um big button coat buttons as eyes. He looked like a doll. Okay, so maybe one of the weird dolls, sewed him up that way. And I do feel like uh this is going to be why they did that. We're gonna figure out in future episodes on why they did that. I get a sneaky suspicion Roger is going to come back and haunt them in Colony House as a creature, as one of the walking creatures that walk around at night knocking on the doors, or become a giant dog. I don't know. Okay, but I feel like that's going to come back. It may bite them in the bullet by them bringing Roger back to Colony House, or it may be used, or it may help them as far as protecting them of the creatures of the night that comes out at night and tries to get in people's houses and eat people. Okay, so that might be used as a weapon, or it might be something that's going to bite them in the bullet later on in future episodes. We have to figure that out a little bit later. Okay, they also brought back the spears. Tabitha used one of the spears to kill one of the dolls. Okay, so they felt like these spears are important to bring back the Colony House. Again, they could probably use these spears to kill the creatures that come out at night. Okay, so that's a possibility as well. Okay, so Donna, Boyd, and the others, they all gather in a room to collect what's been going on. Boyd tells Donna about his ordeal with Jade. Donna tells Boyd about what happened when they spend the night at the log cabin by the lake. And, they talk about Tabitha and what she's building in her room. And I do feel like a lot of this stuff is getting the best or the worst out of Donna. She's consuming all of this and it's not good. She's already, trying to put together what they went through. And now she finds out that, they're going through some stuff while they were gone. And now with Tabitha and the statue, it just got too much for Donna. Donna started to did have a heart attack and she collapsed on the floor. I thought that was the end of Donna. And I've been on a lot of, people's Reddit pages, YouTube channels. A lot of people felt like Donna was going to be the next one to be gone from Fromville. A lot of people have said, this probably going to be the episode, or maybe in future episodes they're going to, extinguish Donna from the From universe. A lot of people feel like that was the next person to go. If this was on a betting site, which I'm pretty sure it is on a betting site, a lot of people lost money last night. Donna, a lot of people thought that was going to make some money when they saw Donna on the floor, unresponsive. They used CPR, that didn't work. And Tabitha's son came over, said a couple of words when she was in bed. I thought she was gonna come back then. Boyd, screaming to the highest heavens, like, you're not gonna die. You don't die until I tell you you're going to die. I thought that was gonna work. That didn't work. So I thought Donna was a goner in the bed until Boyd was talking to the priest. That was in season 2. And a lot of things transpired, and I don't want to spend too much time with the conversation with the priest and Boyd, because I felt like if you spend a lot of time on that, I feel like a lot of people are going to spend a lot of time on that and don't look at what's obviously happening in several scenes during that whole duration of Donna having a heart attack. I feel like a lot of people are going to miss the boat on that, because a lot of people are going to, focus in on the conversations between the priests and Boyd, and they're going to miss the bigger picture. And to me, the bigger picture is how everyone in the town. I don't think people notice this. I know they have used examples of this throughout the whole the duration of seasons of From, the durations of episodes, but you really see it plays a big factor, and you have to be blind as Stevie Wonder to not see this in full effect. But it seems like everyone that's trapped in the town has a purpose. This is not random strangers, that don't have talent or traits or any of that stuff. This town is like any normal town. This town has a sheriff, that's the protector. This town has an advisor. This town has medical assistants. This town has spiritual assistants. This town has abundance of knowledge throughout the characters in From. Everybody, all the characters in From have a job, have a purpose in this town. And so it's just not a bunch of random strangers. You put them all together and they just strangers. They're not really useful as far as, you know, getting them through the days and getting them out of this town. A lot of these people are trapped, and there's a reason why they're trapped because of uh, thanks for the thumbs up. A lot of people are trapped because of what they provide, what tools, what resources, yeah, uh, what knowledge that can be utilized in this town, and you saw it demonstrated throughout that that scene with Donna. Okay, if it wasn't for Jade and his knowledge of electricity and wires and things of that nature, they would not have the power to hook up the EKG machine to check on Donald's vitals. If it wasn't for the two girls who are knowledge in paramedics and doctoring and medication, they wouldn't be able to revive Donna, much less figure out what's going on with Donna. If it wasn't for Jade being a leader, instructing people on what to do and keeping them focused, that could have been pandemonium, and Donna could have died. Okay. So everyone has a purpose in this town. Everybody has a purpose in this town. So you saw that play out through that whole entire scene. I do feel like people are going to miss the boat on that. People are going to focus on what we're about to talk about right now. It's the conversation between the priest and Boyd. I do feel like this is just filibuster. I don't really think this. I think this is kind to. I think this scene is going to trip off a lot of people, and people are going to focus too much on this scene and not focus on what took place before that scene and after that scene. I think this is filibuster. It's not really useful, but but I'm going to talk about it. So when Boyd was talking to the priest, the priest was really only focusing and trying to hone Boyd in on, hey, maybe what Jade is saying is true, Boyd. Maybe you should be focused more so on trying to get people out of the town and less so on other things, and stop doubting yourself. That's what the priest is there. Now, the priest is, a conduit for Boyd to, bounce ideals off of. But the priest only knows as far as getting Boyd to believe in himself and stop doubting himself. That's the whole purpose of why the priest is in the conversation with Boyd in the first place. He's not there to help Boyd with everything else that's going on. Okay. He's just focusing Boyd on what Jay said in the sheriff's office with you a couple of nights ago. That might be very useful for you, and that may be very useful for you and the people in this town. Okay. So when I look at that scenario with him and the priest, and a lot of people are not going to pay much attention on this, when Boyd starts to ask the priest on other things, the priest said, well, I don't know, maybe, I'm not too sure, being very vague. It's almost to the extent the priest doesn't even know, uh, any other things other than getting Boyd focused. So I do feel like that scene right there, is that the forest messing with Boyd, or is that Boyd's conscious trying to focus Boyd on the bigger picture? So we'll have to wait and see how that turns out. But yeah, here's some other cliff notes I wrote. 'Cause I didn't want to spend too much time there. Roger transforming, Roger transforming the nightmare dolls didn't just kill Roger, they heavily altered his body. They sewed buttons all over his eyes, stitched his mouth shut to make him look like a doll. Against better judgment, Donna kept the voodoo Roger in the shed behind Colony House. Okay, so I talked about that momentarily, and if I wanted to add anything, like I said earlier in this live stream, that can either go one or two ways. That the Roger voodoo doll is probably actually a scarecrow to warn the monsters that be lurking at night, and they can use that for them. Roger can be used for the people there or be against the people there. And I really do feel like uh it's a Roger's corpse, pardon the phrase, is going to be used to protect them from not only the creatures that are walking, which by the way, we haven't even seen the creatures throughout this whole duration of this season. Now, we saw cliff notes of the creatures, but the creatures have not appeared in none of these episodes, like knocking on the windows and knocking on the doors, trying to get in. Okay. And I know a lot of people on Reddit pages and Discord and YouTube channel content creators have all talked about this. And they say, don't you think it's kind of ironic we haven't even seen the creatures? Not one creature, well, other than one of the creatures grabbing the Matthew kid when she was story walking. But other than that, we really haven't seen abundance of them. Okay. But yeah, we talked about the Roger doll, and I do feel like that's going to be presented in future episodes. Okay. Sophia manipulating Henry. Sophia continues to play psychological games with Victor's father. Henry is and capitalizing on his grief over Miranda. She forced a dramatic dramatic when she secretly slips her own blood into Henry's drink, raising questions about her mind control and shapeshift capabilities. Now, if you've been following this channel, um, I've said this on multiple live streams and on about Sophia. Um, and that's the man in yellow. And I've said in multiple live streams, the man in yellow has to be among the people to utilize his power. It's not like he can just hide in the woods and force his power and force people to say and do things. She has to be among the people to utilize her power. And who's to say Sophia could have been somebody else? The man in yellow could have been somebody else that was in the town and played these mind control games. And when when the man in yellow thought that that character was no longer useful, he transformed himself into someone else. Okay, so for all we know, the man in yellow probably been in the town among them all this time since day one, trying to get them to trying to figure out a certain trigger to get to cause total havoc and chaos where he can eat the townspeople. Okay, so we talked about that. Now, as far as Sophia playing mind control games, I'm surprised a lot of people, in the town have, and maybe they haven't picked it up because, you know, a lot of current event things have happened, and maybe Sophia is not on anyone's radar, so she's playing under a lot of people's radar. Uh, and let's be honest, Boyd, hasn't figured it out with Sophia because he's so busy worried about other things. Donna, and likewise too. Tabitha as well. So a lot of people have been, and even Jade, a lot of the people that would know would pick up on these things or not picking up on these things. Okay, so they've been doing a lot of busy work. So that's why Sophia has been, planting seeds in her destructive garden with everybody. Now I do feel like the Matthew daughter, out of everyone, I feel like she is not too sure about her, particularly the incident with her with Sophia and her at the diner. So, maybe in future episodes she'll probably piece things together, or maybe she'll story walk and see what's really going on and see how the man in yellow, he's like an agent of chaos. The man in yellow is an agent of chaos. Maybe she story walks and see him transforming into somebody trying to, uh, you know, plant seeds of destruction in a lot of the players. Okay. Now, as far as Sophia, with the blood, what and Henry drunk that drink and it was loaded with Sophia's blood. We're not sure what this is going to do to Henry. Does this mean Henry is no more? Maybe the blood, um, make Henry do and say weird things, or make Henry see what took place between his wife and the man in yellow, just literally eating his wife, and it makes Henry go crazy to the point where he says he no longer wants to be here no more and offs himself. Okay, so it could go either way with Henry. I do feel like this is a piece to the puzzle, but I don't think this is the main story. Well, Henry's father, Victor. I don't know. I kept calling him Henry. He's Victor. So this could be. We'll find out in future episodes. I do feel like we'll find out in in next week's episode. Okay, Victor confronting his past. Distressed distressed by the memories of his father face facing Victor is seen on the roof on Colony House and reveals to Boyd that a previous resident headed to the town so much he jumped to his death. Okay, so we'll talk about that real fast, real quick. Okay, so what I gathered from that scene, and a lot of people are going to say to themselves, Victor was trying to off himself. Victor was going to utilize the same idea someone else had and offed himself by jumping off the roof. And Victor even said that he jumped off the roof and died 2 days later. A lot of people are going to assume Victor was contemplating whether or not to continue in the From universe or not to continue in the From universe. I believe Victor came up there. There's a reason why Victor got on the roof. Okay, I think Victor is going through a lot of the a lot of the things that he have seen as a child to now, and is just going to these places to see if he can remember other things about these places. Now, yes, Victor has drawn what he have saw, but I do feel like Victor is the key to a lot of their answers and a lot of their questions. Okay. I think Jade is on the tip. Boyd at times is sometimes on the tip, but Victor is an encyclopedia of Fromville. If they're going to know anything about what's going on and how to get out of this nightmare, Victor will be the one that would educate them on what to do next. Okay, but Victor, once again, Victor is he's still a child. He's got a man of a body, but mentally he's a child. He's been living in From as a child by himself. So Victor is, not, has not grown or has mental capabilities to, Victor right now is not thinking from an adult's point of view. Victor is thinking as a child point of view. Okay, so um I'm gonna sum everything up. I felt like this was a great episode. I really do think this was a great episode. It was pieced together perfectly. The storytelling kept you on point, and there's a lot of things I didn't tell you guys that I felt like are important parts to me. Is Boyd's connection with the town folk as well as his son. Void, you can just tell, and it's the body language and the mannerisms of Boyd that he is really concerned for everyone in the town. He wants everyone in the town to be saved. Okay. And Boyd's one of those type of people, if the creatures told him, if the creatures ever told Boyd, like, hey, everyone can leave but you, Boyd would take that. He would stay there knowing that the other people in Fromville are free from this. And Boyd would literally do this. So the and I don't know if the writers wrote this character so well that the actor, the, I think his name is Michael, who plays Boyd. I don't know if it's that they're writing and instructing him to, hey, you should stay in this way. When you're with this person, you should do this, you should do that. Or is that's just him doing that? I really do feel like he's a I really feel like all the credit should be the actor himself. I think the way how he positions himself with other characters, how he communicates with the other characters, how he's around the other characters. I mean, that's just veteran leadership as far as an actor go. So I'm gonna give him all the credit, you know, and as far as this character, opening up this character, like he's much more than a character. Boyd is much more than someone who's trapped, or he's much more of someone who's trying to uh get everyone out of this town. He's much more deeper than that. Okay. So because I feel like they did a disservice to Boyd in previous episodes. He was searching for the truth, but sometimes he would sacrifice his own health and his own well-being and his own concerns, because the most important thing is the truth. And you saw Boyd just only focusing and homing in the earlier seasons, focusing on the truth. How can they get out of here? What they need to do, and everything else are surrounded in Boyd's universe. It didn't matter to him, and you can see that that's not the case. Okay, so that's all I got. I felt like I said, I felt like this episode was a great episode. I felt like this was a good episode, and I can't wait for next Sunday. Now, I did say, which has not, I did a review on Batman Noir, uh, and I was giving you guys that I was going to be late with this. In actuality, I say I may not be late with this. Actually, I think a lot of you guys are going to see this before the LA. I mean, before the Spider-Man review that's on Amazon. It's still processing. I have no idea what's going on with that, but now you guys are going to have two live streams you can deal with at your leisure throughout the duration of this week. So, guys, tell me what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe. It's your boy. I'm up out of here. Peace out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Deuces.